All right, we've come a long way. In the last video, we updated our home screen with this scrollable view. So let's add a search view. Go over here to make more room. And in our activities, or in main, we're going to right click on main, new, activity, blank activity. We're going to call this search activity. Okay. We're going to set this one up almost exactly like we did the home feed. So this is good practice to do it again. So text, we're going to change the relative layout to a linear layout. We're going to get rid of the padding here. And we're going to get rid of this Hello World text view. Next, we'll add a designation to what orientation linear layout we want. And in this case, we want vertical because we're going to have an action bar again at the top. Okay, let's go back to the design tab. Time to drag an image view here. We're going to go down and set the source, the SRC, to, this is search, so let's see here. Search action bar template. All right. Again, the bounds are too big, so what do? Adjust view bounds. Nice. Now what I'm going to do is add a scroll view so we can put our scroll content there. Let's go down to containers and scroll view. The up and down scroll view. Remember, that's going to go in our linear layout. Okay. The width, we want the width to be the full width, so the width can be match parent. That means it'll match the width of the parent, its parent being the linear layout, which is the whole screen. And the height can wrap content. All right. So before we can add content, remember, the scroll view allows us to scroll, but it doesn't allow us to add multiple image views. For that, inside the scroll view, we need to add a linear layout into the scroll view. We're using the vertical one because we want it to be up and down. Okay, let's see how many images we need to add. So search, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images that we need to put in. So I'm going to add 6 image views into that linear layout that we just added. Okay, now let's go ahead and set the SRC, the source, for the image view. Search 1. Search 2. Search 3. Search 4. Search 5. And search 6. Okay, now each one needs to have the adjust view bounds checked. Awesome. Next, we need to add the navigation tabs. For those, we're going to use the linear layout horizontal. Now, I'm going to close also the scroll view because we are going to add this to our linear layout. Because remember, how our screen is stacked is the action bar, the scroll view, and then the linear layout, which horizontal, which will be our navigation tabs. We have 3 images for that, so I'm going to add 3 image views to the navigation tabs. Okay, now let's add the button image. So click on this image view, go to source, and now this time we're on the search screen, so our home is going to be passive. We want the non-active one. So this is passive. Okay, we can't see that because right now the scroll view is taking up the priority. So let's go into our XML files by clicking text, go to the scroll view here and add Android layout weight 1. That will give the scroll view the least priority, so everything else will fit, and then it will shrink the scroll view to fit. Back in design. Okay, but now our button's too big. And why is that? Well, because the linear layout here is set to height match parent. Well, the parent is everything below this image view in our linear layout because the scroll view now has no priority. So this one's kind of just taking over. So what we just need to do here is set, instead of match parent, let's just have this be wrap content. Oops, sorry, not the width. It should match parent width. We do want the width, but the height to wrap content. All right. Now we're close, but the button is still way too big. So let's give the button, not the linear view, but the actual image here, 128 absolute width. And in order to get the bounds right here, we're going to go adjust view bounds. And there we go. So we can do the same thing for this one. This is going to be now the search button. SRC over to search active, right? We had that before, but now we're on this tab. We're going to go up to the top. The width is going to be 128. And we need to adjust view bounds. Okay, now for the last image view, we're going to go ahead and add the source for that button. Friends passive because we're not on the Friends tab. And there we go. And it only has enough space to just fill this, so we don't need to set this to 128. We could, but we do need to adjust view bounds. Okay, that looks great. But now how are we going to get to this tab? We need to add another button to our home feed tab in order to get to this one. Well, that's easy. We've done that before. There's only one little twist because we have to do it within our nested layouts. So I'm going to go back to the home activity. I need a button right here because that's going to take me to my search tab. So if I click on this, notice how when I click on something, watch the component tree. If I click on this, it will highlight what I've clicked on over here. So this helps me find the image view that I need. So I need to click on this button. I'm going to add a button here. Okay, so right here in this image view, I'm going to go up to frame layout. And I'm going to drag a frame layout right above that. And then the image view 11, which was that tab, I'm going to drag it up and into, so now it's nested in this frame layout. Okay, now we lost our button on this side. Why is that? Well, that's because the frame layout is set to width match parent, so it's going to take up all the space of the parent. So we just need to set this to wrap content. Great, there's our other tab back. Now the frame layout, we can add a button into the frame layout, right? This is going into the frame layout, and it's going to go on top of that tab. Now it's just like adding the clickable hotspots. We're going to click on this. We can delete the text if we'd like. We can set the alpha to 0. And we can set the width to match parent. So now it's matching the parent of the frame layout, which the frame layout is exactly the size of that tab. Awesome. Now we just need to go down and set our on-click listener. So this one's going to be on search. Tab to lock it in. Now let's set up this button in Java. Go to text. Where is our button? We can look for our frame layout, image view, and then our button. And see how they're actually nested, right, within the XML. And sure enough, here we have on search. Great. I'm going to take our shortcut up here to get to our Java code. All right. Make a little space. Public void on search. View v, right? We just kind of always do that at this point. And curly braces. Now it's going to ask us to import this view. So if I click on this, Alt, hold Alt, return, it'll import that for us, and we're all good. Now how do we transition? We use an intent. So let's set up a type intent. So here's our variable for our intent. We're calling it I. It's of type intent. It's going to be a new intent. And I intend to go from my home activity dot this to my search activity dot class. And we'll put our semicolon there. Now this is red. Hold your Alt key, hit enter, import class, you're golden. Down here, start activity I, and we should be good. Now remember, this is going between tabs, so if we don't specify otherwise, it's going to animate, and it's going to kind of mess up that effect. So let's override pending transition, set that to 0, 0 in order to take that animation off. Let's go ahead and run this and see what we got. Oops, typed that in wrong. Okay, here is our home feed scroll view. And if I click over here, now we're at our search tea. And this was a search for boba tea, but it says everything right now. So let's go back up here and customize this with a text view.